How could Shakur beat him if he can't hurt him? That would be my question.
Listen, you don't have to hurt him. You just have to outscore him. You know, Shakur takes a good shot, though. You know, he's a specialist. That's why some fights that he doesn't look good in, because he's so superior. And it's boring watching sometimes. But he's a specialist. He knows what he's doing. He's hard to beat.
I think it's going to be a great fight. I think that I keep mentioning Mayweather versus Castillo. If you haven't seen that fight, watch that fight. Castillo beat Mayweather with the same style.
My rose. You know that. You know that. So I'm the best fighter in boxing.
Two skillful fighters, two talented fighters, you know, two fighters that are at a high skill level that will compete in the sweet science.
How you beat Teofimo Lopez? Because there's a blueprint out to beat Teofimo Lopez. Ain't no blueprint out to damn Shakur Stevenson. Lopez don't know how to beat Shakur Stevenson. Ain't no damn blueprint. But I tell you who got a blueprint on how to beat Lopez. That's Shakur Stevenson. He know how to beat Lopez. Yeah, Lopez don't know how to beat him. Hell no.
Boxing legends are offering bold and sometimes shocking predictions as they break down the matchup between Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. Analysts debate classic contrasts: speed versus power, defense versus aggression, and ring intelligence under pressure.
Teofimo Lopez. That's a good damn fight too. See, that fight is skill for skill, as good as this fight. Yeah. But they just haven't been around long enough to prove themselves yet. But skill for skill, as far as equality, to me, Bud and Canelo are equal because where they're in their career. Because how accomplished they are. These two guys are also equal where they're in their career. Because they're accomplished, but not as accomplished as these two. But they're still equal. Sure. Accomplished. You understand me? So those are two good damn fights.
Across the boxing world, legends and analysts are split, but highly invested in the Stevenson versus Lopez showdown.
Ultimate skill fighter versus a boxer who's twitchy, and twitchy sometimes beats out skills. Sometimes that's the side that can really beat a straight up boxer to me. Somebody who's twitchy. You know, because they don't fight, you know, as normally as most boxers fight. They give angles, body movement, bouncing around like a Lomachenko would done, even a Crawford does, you know what I'm saying, moves different angles and so forth. That's why they can beat a lot of boxers. A lot of people are rolling with Shakur, and I understand because he's dope. But I don't know who's going to show up what day. What Shakur showing up, or what Teo's going to show up. You get what I'm saying?
Nah, you know, we going to always Shakur going to always be Shakur. The offense that we saw from him in his last fight was just, he knew what he had in front of him.
Does go back and forth. I'm gonna tell you why. Because Teo, what I do is I remove all the negative about what we know about Teo. I remove all of that, and then I look at the fighter. That still is a good fighter. You know what I mean? Strong, fast, you know what I mean? Explosive, unpredictable, and he can hurt you. And every time he's had to step up, he really did step up. You know what I mean? But besides the Cambodia fight, but he stepped up. So I think Shakur. Yeah, my first mind tells me Shakur, and I thought about it. Yeah, I'm picking Shakur by decision, but because this is fighting, anything can happen. You can't count Teo out.
Former welterweight champion Shawn Porter recently leaned toward Lopez, citing his versatility and ability to adapt, particularly at 140 pounds. Porter believes Lopez has more paths to victory against Stevenson's disciplined and structured.
What Pierre said, you know, the twitchiness, that athleticism that Teofimo has is what would give someone like Shakur problems, because it throws off his timing.
Yep.
Shakur is flat out amazing. I've watched this kid. He can find anybody's time.
Right.
So if you give him the space with just like feints and stuff like that, he gonna still pick it up and he's still gonna find it. I got a feeling this thing is not gonna be boring and dry.
The legendary fighter Tim Bradley took the opposite stance, confidently stating that Stevenson is too technical and too intelligent for Teofimo Lopez. Bradley said Shakur already has the blueprint to win, and that Lopez doesn't truly know how to beat him.
Can somebody please tell me how you beat Shakur Stevenson? Please, somebody tell me, how the hell do you beat some damn Shakur Stevenson? I'll wait. How you beat Shakur Stevenson? Can somebody please, on the contrary, please tell me how the hell do you beat Teofimo Lopez? How you beat Teofimo Lopez? Because there's a blueprint out to beat Teofimo Lopez. Ain't no blueprint out to beat no damn Shakur Stevenson. Lopez don't know how to beat Shakur Stevenson. Ain't no damn blueprint. But I tell you who got a blueprint on how to beat Lopez. That's Shakur Stevenson. He know how to beat Lopez. Yeah, Lopez don't know how to beat him. Hell no.
Teddy Atlas praised Shakur's performance against William Zepeda, highlighting how Stevenson blended controlled aggression with his trademark elusiveness. Atlas noted that Shakur fought effectively both inside and outside, controlled distance, and countered with precision.
Shakur showed aggression in his last fight against Zepeda, being elusive while being aggressive. Walking them down, fighting on the inside, boxing well, still being able to counter, still being able to control space, but also be able to go into tight quarters and not be afraid to show that he's good on the inside too, that he can make you miss and make you pay outside and inside. Shakur showed that. That was great. That was great, and people applaud him. I applaud him. We were sitting there, ringside. I was sitting there actually with your sister, ringside, watching that fight, and it was a terrific performance. Shakur showing that dimension, showing that attitude, showing that competitiveness, showing that dog like people like to show or like to talk about, and they wanted to see in Shakur.
Atlas also emphasized that this fight features two elite, highly athletic fighters with contrasting strengths, making it especially compelling. He described the matchup as a high-level chess match where discipline outweighs explosiveness, while Lopez brings speed, power, and unpredictability. Atlas believes those traits only matter if Teofimo can sustain pressure for all 12 rounds.
The fact that, depending on who dominates their portion of the fight, that's how that fight will go. I don't think it's going to end in a knockout. I think it's going to go 12 rounds for sure. But it depends on how the first 6 rounds goes, you know what I mean? Because I don't think that Shakur is going to come out and try to fight or take the fight to Teo in the first 6 rounds at all. So if he's fighting off the back foot, if Teo can make it so that he's convincingly, or he's convinced at least Shakur that he may have won 4 of the first 6 rounds. If it's 4-2 in Shakur's mind going into the second half of the fight, or if I'm looking at him stealing those first 6 rounds, then it's an interesting fight going into the tail end, because Teo, to me, is a front runner, right? I want to see if he can carry his energy and his explosiveness late in the fight and not wear down. And then when Shakur starts to open up, can you steal some of those championship rounds from him?
Atlas sees Shakur frustrating Lopez by making him miss, and then punishing him with clean counters and sharp combinations. Teofimo may have early success if he starts fast, but Atlas predicts Stevenson's consistency and superior ring IQ will take control as the fight goes deeper.
If Teo comes out and does what he usually does, which is try to swarm Shakur early and keep Shakur on the defensive early, then he can try to steal a lot of those early rounds. And if he does that, then Shakur has to fight in the tail end of that fight. And that'll make it real interesting. If I'm looking at the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds, and Teo looks like he's losing those rounds convincingly, then it's an easy night for Shakur, unanimous decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Teo is going to bring anything late in the game, you know what I mean, to this fight. I think if he is who he's always been, he's going to get gassed after like the 7th round and then take some rounds off. And when he does that, Shakur will open up and start to try to pick him apart, pot shot him, and do things like that. But this is the perfect fight, narrative-wise,